Hey, my glass is sliding around.
Yeah, great work.
Thank you.
Casey Cooper, everyone. If you
up?
don't already know, we have a lot of people here watching.
Really?
Today, and that was a great track. What was that track called?
That's called 2015, and it's a lot of fun because it's just like consistent of the same kind of thing, so you can mess around with it. Like it wasn't written out per se in a way that's like, oh, this is a song. It's written out in kind of like a opportunity to improv. Like a lot of that was just coming up with fun stuff.
Cool. And you are playing your the brand new Drumeo Pearl kit here.
Yes.
Which Pearl sent us. Can you tell us just a little bit about exactly what it is?
This is a Pearl Masters BCX kit in Lava Bubinga. It's by far one of my favorite finishes that Pearl has, especially in the Masters series. And it's 10, 12, 14, 16, 22 by 18 inch kick, and a 14 by 5.5 snare. And it's been a beauty. Victor's got it just sounded so good up in here. So.
Nice. I also want to thank a few other people. There's Vic Firth, who's been great, providing with some sticks, and we have Remo. Drums sound awesome, and then the in-ears. I forgot the exact.
Yeah, 1964.
1964.
Yeah.
I knew it was like a date.
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly.
Hey, and my shoes. I got Radom drumming shoes.
Nice.
Love those.
But we don't have any lights in these drums. Normally.
Oh, I know. No drum light, but it's okay. These are pretty classy, so I mean, you can class up the class, but.
Nice. Cool. Okay, so for those of you who are somewhat new to Drumeo, we do this sort of thing every day. We do a live lesson. Usually there's a host, which is what you'd consider me, I guess. And then an instructor and an artist, which is Casey. And so you guys can ask any questions you want. Just leave them in the submit a question box below. And if you'd like to check out more of what we do at Drumeo, just feel free to go to drumeo.com/trial. You can grab a free 30-day trial. You can log in and join us and do this sort of thing every single day. A couple other things. We want to give some stuff away.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we're going to give away what I call a Drumeo swag bag. We're going to give it away at the end of the lesson. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to do it. All I know is that we might just randomly choose someone within the community that is here attending the lesson and give you a free Drumeo swag bag. In that bag, you'll get an annual membership to Drumeo Edge, a Drumeo t-shirt, and a pair of Vic Firth custom Drumeo sticks. Now, if you're watching this afterwards on YouTube, we'd just like you to leave a comment below the video. Leave a comment right below the video and tell us what is a drumming habit that you need to break. Just answer that question. What is that #1 drumming habit that you need to break? And leave that comment below, and then after a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, once the video has been up, we'll randomly choose a comment and we'll send 2 people a Drumeo swag bag. Each swag bag is more than $200 value.
Wow.
So, yeah.
What all's in it?
The annual membership, I already said.
Oh, you did? Okay, I'm sorry. I was too busy.
Annual membership to Drumeo Edge, Drumeo t-shirt, and a pair of Vic Firth custom drumsticks.
There we go. Now, just for people like myself who need a refresher, now you got a refresher, so leave a comment.
Also, we've been filming some lessons with Casey. A lot of you know him as Cooper Drummer. I don't know what to call you, but...
Call me whatever you want.
If you go to drumeo.com/Cooper Drummer, change the E's into 3s, we're going to be sending out some free exclusive lessons from Casey that we're filming this week. So if you haven't already done that, you'll need to go there and just put your email address in there so we know you're interested in receiving some more free lessons from Casey. Last thing. This lesson is kind of an interesting topic. Yeah. 7 drumming habits that you need to break. Now, I think we all have bad drumming habits.
Oh, I definitely have bad drumming habits.
Right, so this is very much going to be a discussion. We're going to be talking about mistakes that we have made in the past, mistakes that, or habits that we've broken, and we're also going to talk about habits that we're trying to break as well, me and you as drummers. Yes. And so it's going to be a fun time, and if any of you have any questions during the lesson, just, like I said, leave them in the submit a question box right below the video. Otherwise, let's get going.
All right, so 7 drumming habits that you need to break. Really, the focus behind this lesson is that, like you said, we all have things that we need to do, and so we need to work on. And the first one here is one that many people, I hear all the time, like, oh man, you know, I never practice with the metronome. And that is a huge drumming habit that needs to be broken. And it's not that you need to practice with a metronome 24 hours a day, every single time you ever pick up a pair of sticks, because you do need to have a sense of timing without one. But practicing with a metronome is never going to be something that, at the end of the day, a guitarist in your band or someone in the drum line next to you or someone anywhere is going to be like, hey man, I wish you wouldn't have practiced with a metronome. It's like, it's so important because that is for sure your time. And a lot of us come up with like reasons why we can't. Like I used to be like, oh, I can't do it because I can't afford one. Or there's an app for your phone, you know. There's a friend has one. Your school teacher at your band class might have one. Someone's got a metronome. I mean, at the very end of the day, your watch is a metronome. Like practicing and getting that sense of timing is something that's going to help you if you ever want to play live with click tracks or loops or stuff with a pop group, or a lot of churches that you play at have click tracks now and have loops that in the background. And so if you want to play at those, you need to be able to do it. If you want to play with a band that has any sort of loops in the background, you got to be able to do it. And really, it's going to help your sense of timing.
Yeah.
I mean,
drummers, your job is to keep the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't keep the time, if you're playing and slowing down and speeding up, and you're unaware of that, like sometimes you might do it and you might do it on purpose because you feel the song should be slowed down or sped up, and that's great if that's the case and the band leader is happy. But if you are not keeping proper time and you are doing that by accident, it's not going to make it a pleasurable experience for other people to play along with you. And I think that's obviously really, really important. That's definitely the number one thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I was thinking of bad drumming habits, that's the first one that kept coming to mind. Because I mean, I used to not do it, and now it's like whenever I have an opportunity to practice, I want to be with a metronome because I want my time to be as impeccable as possible. I mean, even in that last song, there were issues where like things that could be tighter. Like that just the more you practice and things, it's definitely.
I mean, I still practice with the metronome. I'll put it on, and you know, a lot of stuff I learned. I learned some stuff from Benny Greb where you instead of just playing with the click on all the quarter notes, you count the click as it being on the ands, or on the E of the 16th note, or on the A of the 16th note. And so you really can explore timekeeping and how to keep better time and how to have a better sense of awareness of where you are within the groove and within the stuff like that, especially in their fills. I find a lot of drummers will speed up their fills.
I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Now, going out of not practicing with a metronome, the number 2 issue is for people who do practice with a metronome, or even if you don't practice with a metronome, you're just practicing, people who try to play something they can't play yet as fast as they want to play it. Like, imagine your friend shows you this really cool groove that some drummer did on YouTube, or Tony Royster did in his master class or something. You're like, dude, I want to be able to play that. And you sit down and you try and play it full speed, just like Tony just did. And what you don't may not think about sometimes is that you really need to slow it down to build the mechanics of it. You may have the speed around the kit to play it 180 BPM, but that doesn't mean you have the mechanics of your playing to play exactly that part at that speed. And what really helps being a drummer is that just the muscle memory of the ability for something to work in a certain way. And so what I always tell people when they ask me, like when I'm teaching lessons, so many people will be like, hey, I want to play this song. And so they'll try and play the groove at the tempo of the song or along with the song. And that's easy because the song's at that tempo, but it's not good for your actual progression as a player. Like you just try and do something you can't, that's out of reach, at a tempo that's out of reach, and it's not going to help make you better. Yeah,
like Aaron in the chat was saying, crawl before you walk, and walk before you run. If you've ever seen I have 2 little kids, and when they were they didn't start by trying to run really fast. You start really slow, and you kind of work your way up, especially when you're learning something new.
Yes, very much so.
Cool.
And so coming out of that, I'm trying to have these string together because it really is an overall attitude of a bad drumming habit, and this one is performing parts that you can't play yet. And this one is a tough one to say because, I mean, a lot of people don't want to admit to themselves that they aren't ready to perform something yet. There's been times where I'm playing with a band and I'm just learning their songs really quickly, and I'm like, man, all right, I don't have time to get this, and then I just try and play exactly what was previously written or play something that I think is cool, and I'm not ready to do that clean yet. And that's not a good thing, because when you do that, whether it is you're trying to show off and be more technically impressive than the other drummers at the gig, or you saw a drummer before you do something crazy, so you want to do something crazy in your set, it doesn't necessarily make the audience any happier. Because if they feel that off time, if your band feels that off time or an issue that you have because you're trying to play something you're not ready for yet and it's sloppy, that's not going to actually make anyone happier. And so save those parts for practice, and once you're ready to perform them, because quick and messy is never as good as simple and slowed down and really just perfecting it first, like we said at the beginning.
Yeah, I would say, like, especially before performing something, you want to make sure that you have it to the point where you're not even necessarily thinking about it. It's something you can just kind of play while talking or thinking about something else. It's something that's really become a part of you. And if I find that a lot of times drummers will say, oh, they're having a lot of trouble performing and not making a bunch of mistakes. Well, I think you need to practice more, and you need to get in that practice room and really kind of work on those things until they're so ingrained within you. Like think about the basic drum beat, how well you can just play like the kick on the 1 and 3 and the snare on the 2 and 4. Think of you can just sit down and play it. You could tell Casey a story, you could tell me a story, you could talk, you could do complex math equations. Like, you really aren't even thinking about this anymore. And so try and get things to that point before you bring them into a performance, and then you won't necessarily crash and burn, which is something I made that mistake.
Oh, I make that mistake all the time.
I still do.
It's kind of like a pride thing, you know. It's like, oh man, I want to be as good as I can, and if you're not there yet, sometimes you make the mistake of trying to be there.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
And then coming out of that, this is a way to fix a lot of those things we just talked about, and that's practicing inefficiently. So many of us think that, like, almost exactly the same as number 2, but from a different perspective of practicing tempos you aren't ready for yet. Practicing inefficiently is when you sit down to play something and you don't take the time to build it the way that it should.
Right.
And that includes tempos. That includes slowing it down. That includes really pulling back on it and learning it at a slower tempo. But it even more so includes the actual part of breaking down what you're playing. And I'll give you a little example of that real quick.
Sure.
And so, like, if you wanted to play a groove and your first thought was like, hey, I just heard this groove, and you're going to try and play it, like, let me just play something like. So, like, you hear that, our first reaction, my first reaction a lot of times, is going to be, okay, let me try that. Like, just trying to, like, jump right in and just, like, go for it. And one thing that is going to help you is to take a second and really break down the different parts. Like, you can think about the kick drum part there and just go. And you can take the time to really break it down into its pieces and then pull it all back together. If you do the right hand and the foot, that's a little less to think about than the right foot, the right hand, the left hand, and the left foot. And so if you break it down and practice efficiently to where you're really figuring out each part and each hand together, then you're going to be a lot more successful at actually building that groove the way it should be built. And that example was just really quick, and there's a lot more to talk about that. And actually, in a upcoming Drumeo course that he was talking about that I'm putting together, I'll really be discussing the ways to practice and put together those grooves and work on each piece. And so we don't have time to talk about that whole theory part there, but that's just a good tidbit to know that you should practice efficiently.
Ron De Laurentiis says, the slower you play it, the faster you learn it.
Yes.
I think that's very true. I remember practicing stuff like crazy, thinking I'm going to somehow magically get it. Let's say like 100 beats per minute. And I constantly am making mistakes. And then finally I just say, okay, what if I just did this at like 20 beats per minute? What if I did it so slow that it doesn't even like sound like a rhythm or anything, but then I'm able to count it out. I'm able to very deliberately place each limb and help my muscles kind of like learn exactly what's got to go on. And I always found as soon as I did that, it would take me like half or less than half of the time to actually get it up to speed.
Yeah, it's like when you try and practice something really fast, you could spend a lot of time on doing it really fast but never get it perfect. But if you slow it down, you could spend less time than you were doing it fast in order to just progress it up. And that's so important to think about. That efficient practice, like the definition of efficient is doing something in the most successful way possible in the least amount of time.
Right.
So doing it slower and breaking it down is going to help you be more efficient.
Yeah. Cool.
Especially if you only have a certain amount of time to practice.
Nice. Yeah.
So after that, this is something that we all do. I mean, maybe not, but I feel like this is something we all do. And that is practicing things that you're comfortable with, and that's what you do. Like when you sit down behind a kit, and your go-to time behind a kit, you're just like... And that's like your favorite groove or something.
Yeah.
And that's what you play every time you get behind a kit because it makes you feel good about yourself. You're like, man, I can play that well. Like
I call those confidence grooves.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's a confidence groove. And it's not bad to have those, but it's bad to allow those to pull you back and keep you from progressing. I mean, that's something that I do a lot. Like when I sit behind a kit and I'm going to do a new drum cover or something, there'll be fills or grooves or ideas that I fall back on all the time. And I have to consciously tell myself, I'm not going to play that again. I may be good at it or I may like doing it, but I need to push myself to be more creative to come up with something different in that stead.
Yeah, I would say like a lot of students will email me and they'll say, I'm trying to get better, but I just feel like I'm not ever getting any better. And I know it has to do with what they're practicing and how they're using that time. And so, because I always say, getting better at drums is as simple as learning one new thing every day. One new thing every day. If
we did that, we would all be so good.
I don't do that at all. I need to take my own advice many times there because sometimes I just want to play. I just want to jam, you know. But other times, especially when I'm frustrated about the speed at which I'm learning, it really comes down to just being more efficient with your time, planning out what you're going to do and how you're going to get better, and having the right tools to do that. Right. So
that's my favorite thing about this lesson is like when we were talking about this topic, I was like, I'm basically speaking to myself. Like I got to do so many of these things more. It's like it's a good lesson for all of us to like take a second and really look at ourselves. And so the next one, this is kind of totally out of there because I didn't want all of them to be exactly about practicing. I wanted a couple of ones that really kind of spoke to your attitude a little bit. And this one is big. Treating other drumming or music styles as lesser. And that's something that I hear all the time on YouTube. Like every single drummer that posts a comment half the time is like, yo, you know, I don't know what's up with this pop stuff. I only like metal. You should play more metal. Yeah. And like, I understand. There's a huge difference between metal and pop drumming. There's a big difference. Like I just posted a drum play-along of a country track from the Drumeo play-along library. Right. Had a great time playing on that track. A totally different feel. You got that train groove going. And so there were people that like, you know, I don't know if I really like country that much. Like I don't know why you play it. Like could you just play what you normally play? And it's like that attitude right there is going to keep you from progressing because at the end of the day, being good at jazz drumming and metal drumming isn't going to make you a worse drummer. No. Like no one's going to come up to you and be like, man, you're good at jazz drumming. Man, you're bad. Like, why would you do that? No, like there's little nuances and pieces of every style of playing. I remember the first time I came out here, we went to the studio, and you were just rocking away in the studio on this really cool track with some brushes and stuff. Oh yeah. It was like
that was country. Was that country music?
Yeah, it was kind of country.
I think I played I went there and played the same beat the entire time.
Yeah,
right?
you did, but it was like it was good because it fit the track, and you had all these different ideas to bring to it. Yeah. And that may not be your favorite music, but you were able to get the gig. You were able to make the money for doing that because you knew how to do it. And so many drummers who are like trying to make it in the music industry and want to be professional drummers, they're talking down on stuff that could be making them money. Yeah. Like, it's not my favorite genre every time I play something, but I do it because, like, hey, you know, I'm getting paid. This is what I'm doing for a living now.
Yeah, exactly. And I always say there's music that you love, there's music that you like, and then there's music that you appreciate. And there really isn't anything else. Yeah. I don't think there should be music that you hate and anything like that. And I see that as something that's really kind of holding drummers back because they're so closed-minded when it comes to the style of music that they want to listen to. Because you never know where inspiration will come from. Mm-hmm. And you might listen, like for me, the music that I really appreciate is heavy metal. I don't necessarily love just listening to it all the time, but I'll listen to it. We have a lot of great metal drummers coming in. And the crazy techniques that they have to learn, the physical endurance that's required to play, you know, an entire gig is just absolutely incredible. And then you look at a lot of like the melodic instruments within metal and how much technique those guys have built up and all the different, you know, theory that they've learned when it comes to time signatures. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, it's incredible.
So I don't necessarily love the music, but I definitely appreciate it. And one more thing, I know I'm talking too much, but then I realize how much work goes into create a song.
Yes.
Like you've recorded music before. Mm-hmm. How much work goes into like writing a song, recording it, especially creating an album. And I cannot stand it when someone just like listens to it for 5 seconds and it's like, that sucks.
Yeah.
I hate that. And it's like, I'm like, this person like poured their heart and soul into this, and within 5 seconds, people are saying it's junk, and they're just going to walk away and not even give it a chance.
I spent 5 hours in the studio the other day writing a drum part, and it was like we took so much time on it, and it's like a different style than a lot of people might appreciate. So it's like if I heard someone listening to it and they're like, "Man, that sucks," I'd be really sad because we spent so much time perfecting every little part and writing it. But at the end of the day, each style has something to bring to the table.
Yeah.
You may not want to play jazz the rest of your life, but there may be a little nuance to jazz playing that you can put in your rock playing or put in your metal playing and be creative. That's where the creative side comes from, is bringing other ideas into your sphere.
Yeah. It's cool. And there's a lot of great conversation going on in our chat right now, and I know there's going to be a lot of great conversation going on YouTube later.
Oh,
and so
yeah, I bet.
I definitely just want to remind everyone who's a part of this now, whether you're watching now, please continue with the conversation in the chat, and also leave your comments below the YouTube video. Like I said, there's an opportunity to win some prizes, but more importantly, I think it's just great to hear what everyone's bad habits are and what everyone's thoughts are on this topic, because it's not something that's talked about a lot.
It's not.
Like, who are we to say what the bad habits are? We're only going to tell people what our bad habits were and what they still are, right? That's
the thing, is like at the end of the day, everyone has issues. Like, I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, like, and we don't pretend to be perfect. Like, perfection is unattainable. So you want to just learn and continue to get there.
Exactly. Cool,
and
man.
that brings up my last point, my number 7 here, and that is being discouraged by incredible drummers and/or treating other drummers as competition.
Right.
And that one is so huge, because I see it all the time, almost as much as like I don't like pop music or like I don't like country.
Right.
I see someone comment on like a video of Benny Greb, or like comment on a video of Jojo Mayer or Tony Royster Jr. or Mike Mangini, and they're like, "Man, I'm never going to be that good. I should probably just stop now."
Yeah.
And that is like the saddest thing I could ever see. And even like sometimes on my videos, which, I mean, I am nowhere near those guys' level. And like people are like, "I don't know if I'll ever play the way that you play." And it's like, it's not about playing the way that I play. It's not about playing the way you play. Like, you sat down on this kid earlier and tore it up. And I was like, I don't even want to sit back here anymore because this guy just destroyed the kit.
No.
But I still sat back here to have some fun with you guys, and because it's all about where you are. Like, my journey is different than your journey. My place in my drumming is different than your place in your drumming.
Yeah.
You have things to work on. I have things to work on. You should take those people as inspiration. Like, when I see Tony Royster just like doing this, like puts his hand behind his back and he's playing more notes than I can play with all 4 limbs at the same time, that doesn't make me go like, I should probably quit drumming. It makes me go, I need to go practice.
Yeah.
Like, I could learn something like that. Like, I mean, it'd take a while, but I could learn something like that. Like, so that, and then treating others as competition. Like, I see so many times people comment on, especially YouTube, because YouTube is so easy to be anonymous and comment things like, "Oh man, this guy's better than you," or "Oh, you're way better than this guy." And it's like, it's not a competition. And when you treat it that way in your head, when you think about other drummers as competition, number one, you're lowering the amount of connections and friends you can make.
Yeah.
Like, when I post a video on YouTube, I like to include other drummers in it. Not because I think I'm like better than them, or I think I'm more popular than them, or anything like that. It's because I love the drum community and I want to help. Like, I love doing videos with other people, and that's the way you should think about it, is like each person has something to bring to the table to help you learn, to help you get better. Because we're all in it together.
Totally. And I know, like, back, let's say 5, 6, 7 years ago, when we were continuing to grow Drumeo and continue to do this, a lot of people would always compare me to this other educator or this other drum teacher. And at first I look at that and like, oh man, I'm like him. And then over time I've really kind of just said, you know, I'm just going to do my own thing. And here at Drumeo, we're just going to do our own thing. And other people are going to do awesome things as well, but we're going to do our own thing, and it's going to be so cool, and we're going to be so excited about it, and hopefully people will want to join us. And ever since we've started taking that approach, rather than the, hey, that person's competition, I want them to be done and not do this anymore, so all the lights can be on us. Ever since we've really started taking the approach of just like understanding that everyone's going to do their own thing, and we're going to do our own thing, and we're not going to really care about what they're going to do, and we're not going to compare ourselves to them. We're just going to do our own thing. And it's been way better. I have a more enjoyable time when I come to the studio, and I think overall what we do here at Drumeo has just been so much more improved than the way we did it in the past.
And it's so important to realize that you're never going to be a better someone else than they are. Like, I'm never going to be a better Jared Falk than Jared Falk. People who look at my YouTube channel or something and want to do what I do and try and do like the same things that I do, they're not going to do what I do better than myself. Yeah. They could be way better at being themselves than trying to be me or trying to be you or trying to be someone else. And that's what I had to realize. Like, I used to think like I wanted to be a drummer like Neil Peart, or I wanted to be like Mike Mangini or something. And then I realized that's not really the genre of playing that I enjoy the most and that I feel is who I am.
Yeah.
And once I got happy with who I am and I play drums for the right reasons and because I love it, every day is so much better. There's so much less stress when not trying to be someone else.
Yeah. Cool. Now, you actually wrote down a bonus one, because you probably had when you started thinking with this topic, you probably had a ton of ideas, right?
I had so many, I had like 15 and then I could have written more, but this one I wanted to say because I feel like a lot of people watch my videos and get the wrong idea. And so this one is placing showmanship over solid playing. And this one's a tough one for me because this is one that I have to think about sometimes. Like, I am by no means perfect, and I definitely have messed around with this before and like tried like, oh, I'm going to do this cool stick trick right here, and then the playing is not as solid as it should be. And that's not what I want to promote. It's not what I want like people to take away from my videos. Now, a lot of times, I feel most of the time when I'm doing a live performance where it has to be solid because like I'm playing with a band, or it has to be solid because I'm playing at church, or like then there is a lot less showmanship from my end. I play with high energy, but I don't do stick tricks all the time in a live setting. A lot of times, like I don't do a lot of that stuff. I only do it when I'm having fun, like sitting at home, like trying the crazy tricks that might not necessarily be good for live. And that's something that I definitely think I've seen struggle. Like I've seen people send me videos and be like, hey man, check out my stick trick. And you go and watch the video and they can't even play like in time, but they're trying to do these stick tricks.
Yeah.
And I'm not perfect. I don't play in time all the time. I have stuff to work on. But most of the time when I do decide to include that kind of stuff, it's when I feel confident about the timing first. And that's what you need to do, is focus on the playing. Then if there's room, be a showman, throw your hands up, do something crazy. But if you have to sacrifice your playing for the showmanship, you can't do that because it's not going to make you better.
It's hard to focus on the playing when your sticks are on fire.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, that is definitely a
that was more for the showman.
Yeah, that is a showmanship almost entirely. But I mean, like I said, I have a lot to learn as well, and that's.
I wasn't calling you out. I was saying I think that's pretty cool video.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. But in the studio, I don't do stick tricks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what you do is so visual that people are watching and listening. And I think a lot of people who are kind of against stick tricks will not necessarily have a deep enough understanding of what goes on YouTube, how to be successful on YouTube. You got to be engaging to watch. You got to be engaging to listen to. And your fans have to be able to connect with you. And I think that's why you've had so much success. Like, how many subscribers do you have now?
I just passed 750,000. So.
750,000. Okay? That is crazy, man. And so for those of you who haven't seen his fire drumming, what should they search to find that?
Fire drumming.
Fire drumming. Wow. Who would have thought? Okay. So for those of you here in the chat, I want you to think about what your bad drumming habit is. Do not post it in the chat yet. Okay, but I want you to just start thinking about that. We got through those 7, I guess, and 8 bad drumming habits you need to fix, and you were going to prepare another. You had another song prepared for us.
Yeah, let's play a little more.
Okay, got to hear this kit.
Yes, please. I got to play this kit.
Okay, so this one's another Drumeo play along called Drumadiddley.
Drumadiddley.
All right.
Keep it nice and simple. Just have a little fun here.
first ever Drumeo solo.
Really?
That's the first time you've done a
That is.
solo here, man.
Thank you.
Good job, dude.
Having some fun.
Everyone's like, because I guess they see me in that camera over there, and I was like totally looking at my computer. I was listening, but I'm going through all the questions. There's so many good questions, and so I had to kind of choose them while you're doing that solo. And yeah, I'd love to get to them all. But for those of you who are Drumeo Edge members, so if you've signed up for a free trial or you're currently have a subscription, tomorrow Casey's going to be doing a Q&A along with Victor, who's our audio guru, and they're going to be talking about how to film drum covers, how to record drum covers, taking questions related to that. And so that's going to be a really fun time. Yeah. And so for you Edge members, if I don't get your questions today, feel free to ask them tomorrow, and I'm sure you'd be happy to take some time and do that. But before we get into these questions, I just quickly wanted to, we'll have to go quick because we are running out of time, share some of our bad habits. I know this is... why not? Why don't we broadcast what we're bad at? So first of all, I'll go. I wrote down three things that I think are currently still a bad habit of mine with drumming and are things that I need to break. The first is practicing too much technique. I love, I'm like a numbers guy, so if I can practice something that's quantifiable, something that I'm with speed, I know when I get faster. So I end up practicing that a lot, and then I find that my musicianship isn't as good because of that. And so I really want to try and find that healthy balance between, playing with musicians, communicating that way, as well as practicing technique and getting better. Another one is I love playing jazz, practicing it, but I don't really listen to it enough. And so I just I feel like I know jazz as an exercise, but I don't know jazz as
an art,
and as all the different culture that comes along with that style. I really need to get into the history of that more. And we have artists coming through here like Daniel Glass, and Pat Petrillo's an instructor on Drumeo, and we have so many amazing. We had Peter Erskine on Drumeo. So many amazing players that I just really want to get into that more. Another thing, and this is very practical, it's one of my repetitive drum fills, but a lot of times I'll do 2 quick doubles on the bass drum and then to a fill. And I'll use it in songs when I probably shouldn't use it.
I feel you. I do that. There'll be times where I'm I really want to play this fill, and then I'm after I play it, I'm playing live, I really shouldn't have played that fill.
Yeah. Exactly. That's that reminds me of when you're a kid and you have those toddler toys and just fit the shapes in the holes. That's kind of trying to fit a triangle through a circle or a square through a triangle. It's it doesn't work, man. You're breaking things.
Why are you playing that double phase fill in the middle of this halftime?
Exactly.
Gospel.
What are some of your bad habits that you're trying to break?
Well, I'd say one of them is something that I deal with a lot because I always want to give 100%.
Yeah.
But I treat a performance as a sprint and not a marathon. And so I'll get into it. This last time on Drumeo, I was rocking out the first song as hard as I could possibly play because I'm having fun. I love it. But sometimes I don't think about the end result, the fact that I have to continue to play a lot more songs. And I always make it through the gig. I've never broken down at the end.
Right.
But when you play that hard and that fast all the time throughout the entire gig and you don't save anything, sometimes towards the end of the gig, that being tired can affect the actual performance.
Right.
And I try and keep it from doing that, but it is something that I need to think about more often.
Cool.
I'm trying to remember the other two I wrote down.
Improv setting.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
we do have notes.
Yeah, we have notes. I need notes. No, but when I get into an improv kind of situation, like we were talking about earlier,
right.
A lot of times I'll fall back on fills and stuff that I'm really good at. That performing stuff that you're confident with. Yeah, the confidence fills and grooves and stuff. And so I like to do that. There'll be times in my covers or in videos or even live performances where I'll be man, I've done that fill so much lately. I really need to stop that. I love that fill. It's a cool fill, but it's not a cool fill if you do it 50 times. So, and what I write now?
Treating every gig.
Yep. Okay. And then this one is a big one too. This one I almost put on the list here.
Right.
Is that treating every gig with the same respect. And the difficulty there is that That's not the bad habit. That would be a good habit if I did that. I have the bad habit of not treating every gig with the same respect. And that's when you get asked to do something for a friend and you're like, okay, like I'll do it. But then you don't really practice the songs as much. You don't spend your time.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, there's a difference. If you're going to play in front of 50,000 people, you should obviously practice 2 or 3 more times than you're going to practice for 50 people on a non-paying gig. But at the same time, like, who knows who could be there? Or like, you're not going to get a call back for a gig if you're not prepared enough for it every time. And so that's something that is really something that I need to focus on, because there are times where I'm like, I don't really feel like practicing a lot on this.
Right. Well, it's hard. I know one time I went to a Dom Famularo masterclass in Vancouver, and one of the things he said is always give 110%, you know, which is, we should know that. We always say that, but rarely do people actually exercise that sort of thing. So that's cool, man. Thank you for sharing. Let's get to some questions now,
Yes.
and then after that, like I said, we're going to be giving some stuff away. At the end of the lesson, you're going to be playing another tune. Now, for those of you who want to check out more of what we do at Drumeo, we do this sort of live thing every day where there's a host and there's an instructor, and we also have some great instructors around the world that kind of pipe into our system. We call them satellite instructors. If you want to check all that out, just go to drumeo.com/trial, and you can get a free 30-day trial. We're also filming some new lessons with Casey that are only going to be released through email. And so we can email you all those links. You just got to sign up at drumeo.com/COOP3RDRUMM3R and turn those E's into 3's, and then you'll be good. We will put all those links below the YouTube video if you are watching this on YouTube. Boom, boom. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Lots of good questions. There's a few people who were keeners and actually came in before the lesson and asked questions, which I thought was pretty cool. So let's just kind of burn through some of these.
All right, let's do it.
This is from Ben Arthur. Hey, Casey, huge fan. I'm just wondering, do you use ear protection while drumming?
Hey, Ben. I try to. I don't always succeed at that, which I should succeed at that, because as a musician, your ears are, I mean, pretty much your most valuable asset. I mean, as a drummer, I guess if you lost your arms, then it would be worse than losing a little hearing. But at the same time, if you can't hear anything, it's going to be a lot harder to play. And so you really should protect that. A lot of times, if I'm not using my 1964 in-ears when I perform or play or practice or do a video, then I have these Vic Firth like drumming isolation headphones that were really cheap. They were like 15 bucks, I think. And they really block out a ton of sound, because I know that like not everyone has a ton of money to go buy nice headphones. And so I actually have a video on my channel that talks about investing in headphones and what they can do for you, because they are important. Cool. Very important.
This one's from PGA Pro Mike. It says, Cooper, I've been following your YouTube for a long time, and I was wondering, the first time you sat at a drum kit, what were your goals as a drummer?
Ooh, my first time sitting behind a drum set, I wanted to be a rock star, you know. I don't know if that's like everybody's dream, but like when I first got a drum set, I was like, man, I imagine playing for all these people. And so I guess that was my first thought. I wanted to be Neil Peart back then. That was my, like, I wanted to play Rush. Like, that's all I wanted to do in my life was play Rush.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a big thing. And now it's really changed, because I don't, I want to help people. I want to be like a good educator and share cool lessons and inspire people to do what they love. Right.
Cool. This is from Cody Plays Drums. He says, I've been watching your YouTube covers for lessons on YouTube for a while now. How much time would you consider to practice, and how much would you do to not overload yourself with so many lessons? He's having a little problem lately with not knowing what to practice and kind of how to set those types of goals.
Okay, well, I mean, I think that if you're going to practice every day, which would be really great if everyone has time to do that every day, I think that you should allot just an hour or two. I mean, some people say that they do like 8 hours a day, and because they want to be the next jazz drumming great or something. And if that is your goal, then I would spend more time every single day. But if you operate a normal life and you have stuff to do, don't like make drumming something that is like a pain to do, because you're like, man, I really don't want to spend 4 hours drumming today because my hands hurt and I'm tired from yesterday. But spend a good hour or two, and kind of like Jared said, I think is a perfect example. Learn one new thing a day. Like, focus on one thing. Don't worry like, oh, today I'm going to spend 4 hours because I got to work on this and this and this and this and this, and then write out a list. And like, Do something where it's like, hey, this is my goal for today. And then if you accomplish that goal and you have more time and you want to spend more time drumming, then spend more time drumming and work on a new goal.
Nice. This one's from Lars Petter. He says, hey, Casey, big fan. It's currently past midnight and I have school tomorrow, but this is worth it.
Thanks, man.
First of all, congrats on the engagement.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. It's on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, it is. I did get engaged. Thank you.
Everyone's clapping out there. Everyone. No, just listen really closely.
That's very sweet of y'all. I really appreciate it.
Second, what is the most valuable lesson you have learned as a drummer?
Ooh, that's a lot. That's a tough one. But I would say the most valuable lesson I have learned as a drummer is that there's always someone better than you, and you don't don't take that as a discouragement. Take that as inspiration, because there's been times in my life where I was really kind of cocky, yeah, hey, I'm getting really good. Like in high school, I was probably the best drummer in my high school, and so I'm like, man, look at me. It's at the end of the day, it's not about being better than people. It's about being the best you can be, and that is really the focus there. Continually improving yourself to be the best you can be, and to fulfill every single gig to the best of your abilities.
Mm-hmm. Cool. This is a good one. JPST says, hey, Mr. Cooper.
Hello.
I just started to do those drum cover videos, and I was wondering if you got any advice about how I can get more views and more followers.
Well, there's, that's a whole segment in itself, but I would say the first thing to do is to make sure you do what you love so that you can do more of it. If you're going to put out a lot of videos, you want to be doing something that you're really enjoying. And so put out a lot of great content in stuff that you love and that you know that people are going to be searching for. So you may love this one band that no one's heard of, but if you do 15 covers of their music and no one's heard of them except for you, you're not going to be found. But if you love Incubus and you do a bunch of really awesome covers of Incubus, people are going to find that because people are searching for Incubus drum covers, you know?
Yeah. I don't know this user's name, and I won't share their email address, but you know who you are. He says, my name is Andrew. That's how
Hi,
it
Andrew.
starts.
Thanks, Jared. Hi, Andrew.
Wow, blonde moment there.
It's okay.
Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe that's bad to say. Don't want to offend anyone. Maybe I've been watching you on YouTube for years, and I've always wanted to know how you have developed such fast footwork.
Ooh, I don't really feel like I have the fastest footwork, but I very much appreciate that. I use it in spurts. I don't do a lot of straight double bass a lot of times, and so when I break it down, I've practiced more of the smaller little segments, and because of that, I think that's helped me improve gradually and focusing on it over time, like we were talking about earlier, speeding it up slowly. And that's really what's gotten me to where I am, because I didn't try and play really fast right away. In fact, I played 8 years without a double pedal, and so I built my right foot before I ever even tried to add in my left foot, and then added it in and did that in a nice gradual progression.
Nice. This one's from Jackie's Perschetti. Being a female drummer who began playing in 1969 and having to prove myself due to the rarity of female drummers back then, I'd say my biggest area of growth has been getting over the heart-pounding feeling of competition. I'm so thankful for Drumeo, as it has helped me realize we all have feet of clay, not just me. And that was just a nice comment.
That is a nice comment.
I wanted to read.
Thank you.
This is a good one. Nachos Beans said, hey, Casey, glad you're here. Do you put your double bass pedal on the left of your hi-hat pedal or the other way around? And this, I think, is a good question to address, because it's not something you see a ton of.
So you see from the overhead angle right now, it is on the left-hand side there. And we actually did a drum setup video today where I talk about how to set up a kit and the different nuances of my setup. And the reason I do it on the left side is, if you notice, I have really long legs, and so it makes sense for me to spread my legs a little bit. It's a little cramped if I'm like this, and it also gives me room for the snare drum, and most importantly, it allows me to keep my hi-hat closer, which I really love, that quick action between the hi-hat and snare drum without having to reach over here to do something. I see some drummers doing this or this, and so it's easier for me to have everything close.
This is from Music Weekly, and this will be the last one, and so we just don't have time to get to all of them. But it says, Casey, what I've always heard is surround yourself with musicians that are better than you, and you'll strive to catch up to them. Do you believe that, and do you currently do that?
Oh, I totally believe that. Every chance I get to play with someone who's better than I am, I love it. Like, there's so many times lately in my YouTube videos where I'll feature someone who's better than myself because I know that hopefully, like, the people watching my videos and I'll learn something from them and see it and grow from it. And so, I mean, it is not always necessary. Like, if you live in a town where there's not a lot of really amazing drummers or really amazing musicians, you can't, like, not play because you don't have someone better than you to look up to. But there's always the internet and there's always places to find that. And so I would really say that, I mean, you can learn a lot from people. When I was young, a lot of my musicianship came from playing in a church with 30 and 40-year-old musicians who had been playing all their lives, and I've been playing for 4 years, and they could be like, "Yo, man, that's good, but this is how you can make it better." Even not being drummers, like the pianist I used to play with would always have great things to tell me because he's been around so many drummers.
Nice. Great. Okay, so I just want to once again thank all the sponsors, all the people that have helped you out with gear. So Pearl, Zildjian. These hi-hats sound amazing, by the way. I used to have a set of those.
Okay, custom session hi-hats, baby.
Yeah, they're very, very cool. The 1964 in-ears. You got the Remo drum heads, drum light, which your drums aren't lit up.
Thick First Sticks.
Thick First Sticks.
Random drumming shoes.
Drumming shoes, like, who would have thought?
They're comfortable. I love them.
Yeah? They look nice.
Thank you.
They're not like really weirdly
like you. Yeah.
Pardon?
I'm trying to be stylish.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, you know me. Such a style. All about the style. Also, for those of you who want to check out more lessons from Casey, go to drumeo.com/COOP3RDRUMM3R, or if you want to check out more what we do at Drumeo, drumeo.com/trial. We would love to have you as a student within the Drumeo members area, and so please just go and check it out and consider it. We are going to choose a winner for this Drumeo swag bag. In the swag bag, you get a 1-year pass to Drumeo Edge, you get a Drumeo t-shirt, and a pair of Drumeo custom Vic Firth drumsticks. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a comment right below the video with your kind of drumming habit that you're trying to break. Just share that with us. We'll choose 2 people from those comment sections, and we'll mail you guys, or girls, a free Drumeo swag bag as well. Yes. So right now, what I want everyone to do is, I want well thought out answers, and I want you to post in the chat what is a drumming habit you are trying to break. Right? This is for people who are here watching live, obviously. We're going to kind of review them right now while we're live, and we're going to choose one person and then give you a free Drumeo swag bag.
Awesome.
I'll read you a couple of them as they come in. Okay. Lars Petter says, one of my bad habits is just jamming out to my Spotify list rather than actually practicing. Justin Amaria says, noodle too much in practice, start jamming when I practice too long. Prashant Gomes says, a bad habit that I have is jamming to songs with earphones all the time instead of actually practicing. Marv Flies is dropping sticks. Imagine or Ninja Guy says, my bad habit is not practicing at all. I only have an electric kit tape, and my drums aren't my main instrument, so I don't have enough time to take them seriously. Jackie Perschetti says, we already read her comment. That's good, Jackie. We like that one as well. Scotty Aldrich says, my bad habit trying to respond to these chat things. Come on, you got to choose someone.
Oh, I got
Nachos Bean says, my worst drumming habit is not feeling confident enough when I play in my middle school jazz band.
Well, let's go. I really like the Spotify one about playing to just songs because I feel like a lot of us can relate to that one. I heard it multiple times. So
awesome. Okay, I will contact you. For the person who left a comment about Spotify, we have the entire chat records, which I will go through. After this, I will find your username and I will contact you because it's pretty much impossible to find it now.
I made your job hard.
It always happens, but you know what? It's fun to do. It's fun to watch and talk with all the different students online. And so, yeah, you know, it's obviously hard, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
And so I would say just screw it. I'm just going to do it. It'll be fun. So if that was you who left a comment about playing music on your Spotify list, you can email me, jared@drumeo.com, but I will go check the chat records just to make sure.
Everyone's comments like that now, so you better watch out. You're going to have a bunch of Spotify
No, that's the
comments.
first one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to play one more song, which is the great song. So for those of you who are stuck around to the end of the lesson, what's this song called?
It's called Metal Life, I believe. Yeah. I'm taking these off so they don't fall off on me this time.
Because you're getting metal now.
About to have some fun up in here.
All right.
Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been awesome.